Winter has a way of turning the world into something hauntingly beautiful, but beneath that frozen exterior, there's a darker side, one that's cold, unforgiving, and deeply disturbing. Tonight, I'm sharing a true winter horror story that happened in December of 1987. A story that will make you think twice about venturing out in the snow. It was the height of winter in northern Minnesota, and a young couple, Eric and Laura, decided to spend a romantic weekend at a remote cabin in the woods. Eric's uncle owned the cabin, a small, rustic retreat miles from the nearest neighbor. With fresh snow blanketing the landscape, it seemed like the perfect getaway. Winter has a way of turning the world into something hauntingly beautiful, but beneath that frozen exterior, there's a darker side, one that's cold, unforgiving, and deeply disturbing. Tonight, I'm sharing a true winter horror story that happened in December of 1987. A story that will make you think twice about venturing out in the snow. It was the height of winter in northern Minnesota, and a young couple, Eric and Laura, decided to spend a romantic weekend at a remote cabin in the woods. Eric's uncle owned the cabin, a small, rustic retreat miles from the nearest neighbor. With fresh snow blanketing the landscape, it seemed like the perfect getaway. The first day was serene. They spent hours hiking, snapping pictures of frozen lakes and frosted trees. The silence of the woods was almost magical, broken only by the crunch of snow beneath their boots. As evening fell, they cozied up by the fireplace, drinking hot cocoa and laughing about how disconnected they were from the world. But as the night deepened, the laughter faded. Around midnight, Eric stepped outside to grab more firewood. The freezing air stung his face as he trudged to the woodpile. That's when he saw them footprints. Not his, not Laura's, but fresh prints in the untouched snow leading away from the cabin into the woods. They were human-like but strangely elongated, as if whoever made them had distorted feet. Eric's stomach churned. He called out into the night, "Hello, is someone there?" But was met with silence. Shaking off the unease, he hurried back inside, locking the door behind him. When he told Laura, she laughed nervously, brushing it off as his imagination. But deep down, they were both uneasy. As they tried to sleep, strange sounds began outside, soft scratching at the windows and faint tapping on the walls. Eric checked multiple times but saw nothing. Then came the whispering. It was faint at first, like the wind carrying voices, but soon it became clear. Someone or something was circling the cabin, speaking in a low, guttural tone they couldn't understand. Panic set in. Eric and Laura huddled together, their eyes darting to every creak and groan of the old cabin. The whispers stopped, replaced by a loud thump on the roof. It sounded like heavy footsteps pacing above them. Eric grabbed a poker from the fireplace, his hands trembling. Suddenly, there was a loud bang on the front door, as if someone or something was trying to force its way inside. Laura screamed, and Eric yelled, "Who's there?" But there was no response. Just as suddenly as it started, everything went silent. Hours passed as they sat frozen, clutching the poker and a kitchen knife, waiting for dawn. When the first rays of sunlight crept through the frosted windows, Eric cautiously opened the door. What they found outside made their blood run cold. The snow around the cabin was covered in strange symbols, carved into the frost like ancient runes. The footprints were everywhere, circling the cabin in chaotic patterns. But the most disturbing discovery was on the roof, deep claw marks gouged into the wood, as if something inhuman had been there. They packed their things and left immediately, abandoning their plans for the weekend. As they drove down the icy road, they noticed the same elongated footprints trailing their car for miles, only vanishing when they reached the highway. When they told Eric's uncle about their experience, his face went pale. He admitted that previous visitors had also reported strange occurrences in the winter, but he had always dismissed them as local folklore. Some said the land was cursed, haunted by a creature that stalks the woods during the coldest months. To this day, Eric and Laura refuse to talk about what happened that night. They've never returned to the cabin, and they never plan to. And whenever they see snow, they can't help but glance over their shoulders, haunted by the memory of those distorted footprints and the chilling whispers of the frozen woods. Closing scene. The camera fades to a shot of the cabin, now abandoned and buried in snow, as distant whispering grows louder, then cuts to black. The next time you find yourself surrounded by snow and silence, remember, winter may be beautiful, but it can also hide the most terrifying secrets. Stay warm, stay safe, and stay vigilant.